I will be building a learning management system using Zencoder in this video. Zencoder is a coding AI agent that directly integrates with your VS Code, JetBrains IDEs, or Android Studio. The features that I will be using in this video are agentic code generation and refactoring, code completion, bug fixing, generating code description using custom agent, code reviews, unit test generation using unit testing agent, using integration like Chrome extension of Zencoder to directly pull in the data from GitHub issues to your VS Code and resolving it over there. And last is using MCP server in Zencoder. So without any further ado, let's start building the application now. So I have already installed the Zencoder extension in my VS Code. So if you click on this icon, you'll see this chat interface. Let me turn on this coding agent. It basically uses the advanced AI workflows for all the features that we are going to use today. Let me enter my prompt for the application that I want to build, that is a learning management system. So if you see this prompt, this is a very detailed prompt of the application. So I've named this LMS as Zen Academy, and I'll be building this using React Vite and Tailwind for the front end, and for backend and authentication I'll be using Supabase. And in this app I'll be having two roles. First will be the admin, who will be managing the courses and modules and chapters, and second will be the end user, who will be watching the videos uploaded by the admin. I have mentioned every detail of what I want in this application. Now let me enter the prompt and let the Zencoder do its magic. Zencoder is built on top of two technologies. First is repo grokking, that is a coding analysis system made by Zencoder, which understands the coding patterns, dependencies, and the structure of your code base. And second is the AI agent pipeline that breaks down your complex task into smaller tasks. For example, for the prompt that I have given, you can see it is analyzing the prompt and it is analyzing what has been generated already, and then one by one creating each file. So this is the entire code generated by Zencoder. You can click on each file and check the changes and accept or reject based on what you want, or you can accept all the changes in one go. Let me close this and open the right hand sidebar and pull the Explorer on right. Alright, now let me accept all the changes. Awesome. So it has generated a perfect folder structure for me. I know we can see a lot of errors. That is because we have to perform npm I. Awesome. So I have installed all the dependencies, and you can see things are better now. Now let me go to the readme that it has generated. Let me just view it in readme mode. Cool. So it has created this nice readme for me for the Zen Academy, some features that it has, tech stack, some prerequisite setup, and also I have to create some Supabase table for this application, and it has given me the SQL queries for the same. Then I have to create an env file as well. And so yeah, let me do all of these things. Firstly, let me create an env file .env, copy the things in example, then env, and yeah, and let me add these credentials. So I'm done creating the env, created all the tables in Supabase, and also created an admin user for my application. Let me close all the files now. Alright, I can see there is some error in this particular file which shows some error. Let me fix it with Zencoder. You can see in the chat that it has taken the error directly in the chat interface, and it is trying to analyze and fix it based on the context that it has. So it has installed the React Hot Toast library, and it is analyzing more on that, and it has generated a fix for us. And if I apply this, you can see the error has been gone. Awesome. Now let's understand the code base it has generated for us. You can see there are pages, there is library, context, components. In components, it has a sidebar component, which I have mentioned in the prompt. Then in context, you can see there is an auth context that it has generated. This is primarily for the authentication that I asked in my prompt to generate for us. Awesome. If you go to lib, you can see there is one file for Supabase client. Then if you go to pages, it has generated all the necessary pages. So the code structure looks really nice. And if you see the dependencies also, it has added toast library for showing the toast, which is really nice. It has also installed Tailwind, which I already mentioned in my prompt. So yeah, everything looks good based on what I asked for it. Now let me run the application. Run dev. All right. Cool. This is how the login page looks like. Let me add the email zen.com and admin. It is signing me in, and damn, you can see that it has generated this UI for me. There are some issues like these are on loading, but we'll fix those issues later. In manage courses also, it has created all the add module button, create your first module, manage users, where we can manage the users, edit them. On edit, it's showing me all the details, and in settings it is showing me the account settings. So this is what I asked in the prompt, and it has generated really nicely. Now let me push this code base to my GitHub repository. So I have pushed my code to this GitHub repository. You can see the readme as well. It is the same that we had in VS Code, and in our application we saw that there was an issue on the first login, and for the same I've created one GitHub issue over here. So if you see this issue, showing loading on learn page when there are no chapters or modules. So I've created some description and created this issue. I've also installed the Zencoder Chrome extension, and you can see that that is this icon of address this with Zencoder. So let me click on this, and it is asking me to open the VS Code. Now if I click on open, it will ask me the repository. Select the repository and open it. You can see the entire issue has been transferred to our VS Code, and now it is getting fixed using Zencoder. And this is a super helpful feature, to be honest. It directly takes the issue and fixes it for you, and it has all the context of your code base as well. You can see that it is retrieving context for the learn tab first, and then it has made some changes in this file and generated some changes, and it is still reviewing it, and it is giving a summary of the fix. And if I click on apply, let's log in again, and you can see that the issue has been fixed. It is showing video not available and no chapters added, which I asked in the issue. So if you go back to the issue, I asked that you should add video not available and no chapter added to be added on both of these sections. Now let's go to manage courses, and you can see I've added 2 modules. Let me add one more module, maybe module 3. You can see 3 modules have been added. Let's quickly add some chapters. Let's say introduction. Let me add one video link of YouTube, and let me do this for all the modules. So I have added some chapters in all of these modules, and these are in draft status, as you can see. Let me make them live. Now let's go to the learn tab back, and you can see that module 1 has 2 chapters, and if you go to module 2, it will show 2 chapters again, and it is showing the YouTube link that I have added, and module 3 has only 1 chapter. As you can see, the aspect ratio of this video component is not looking good. Height of the component should be little more, but this can be again fixed in the code editor, or you can create an issue on GitHub and directly pull in using the Zencoder extension. Let's go back to extension and let's explore some more features of Zencoder now. So in this manage course file, if let's say some new developer comes and start working on it, and if it's not able to understand a particular part of the code in this particular file, for example, if I go and let's say module submit, if it is, let's say, If someone wants to understand how this particular function is working, just select the function, press Command L, and then you can just write plain the code. Soon as you do that, again the coding agent will start working. It will generate the description properly, what each of these things does. You can see that it has created the explanation for the function handle module submit. It shows that it is used for creating and updating modules, what each of these things does. You can see that e.prevent default, which prevents the default behavior of your form component. So what is the conditional logic? All these things are properly explained, so it will be easy for existing or any new developer who will be joining your organization, and it can quickly get context of your code base and start working on it as soon as possible. Now the next interesting feature that I'm going to show you is the code completion feature. So Zencoder comes with an intelligent code completion suggestion. For example, if I write / over here, which we usually use to add comments, it showed me a suggestion that this is an input field for email. Similarly, if I do it over here, it gave me a suggestion for input field. Similarly, if let's say if I go to some other, let's say I'm going for settings file, and over here, and let me add one more div here. Okay, and if I add label, you can see that it is giving me a code suggestion for avatar URL. If I hit tab, it got completed, and it is, and even the class names and everything is similar to what we have at the top, so that you know the pattern remains the same. Again, if I write, it is giving me that I should write avatar URL over here, and then if I write input, you can see that it gave me the entire code over here as the suggestion. Oops, let me do it again. Yeah. Now let's say if you want to review the code for a particular file, let's say if you go to learn.tsx and you want to review this file, so you can do that with Zencoder. Go over here, the learn.tsx has already been added in the context, so now you can just add / and add review. It will generate a review description for this particular file, and it will show you some potential strengths and improvements that you can make in order to improve your code. So you can see the strengths, responsive UI, clean YouTube video ID extraction and everything. And in improvements, it has given that dependency array issue in first use effect. Select module is used, but it's not added in the dependency array. That can be an issue. Second is the missing loading state. The initial module fetch doesn't set or clear the loading state. That is also fair in terms of the UX of your application. Potential memory leak and accessibility improvements, type safety and everything. You can also ask Zencoder to fix this issue if you want to. Now let's explore some of the settings of Zencoder. So if you click on these 3 dots, you can see the models first. So here you can choose your model. You have 3 options, GPT-4o, Claude, 3.5 and 3.7. You can also your own API keys if you want to. Then we have integrations. So Zencoder has a native Jira integration, so you can connect your Jira and pull in your tickets over here, and you can resolve the issues over here as well. Then we have repo grokking. So in the starting of the video only, I discussed about repo grokking, that repo grokking is one of the core technologies Zencoder is using, which is a code analysis system that understands the patterns, dependencies and structure of your code base. So these are some of the settings that you can manage. You can turn off or on the code indexing. You can also re-index them. If you want to exclude a particular file from indexing, you can do that over here. Then we have instruction for AI. So different organizations have different styles and patterns of coding. So if you want to make the AI code in your particular tone or pattern, you can add all your instructions to the AI to code in a particular format, and Zencoder will be doing it accordingly. Then we have custom agents. So this is one of my favorite features that I use. You can create your own custom agents to implement a custom set of functionality on custom set of code or a file. I'll be creating a custom agent for generating components. So I'll write the agent name as component generator, agent instruction to analyze the file, understand the reusability and modularity of your code, and then accordingly just create components for that file. And last is the command that I want to add, that is cmp gen component generator. All right, I'll just add it, and now I'll go back, and if you go into chat and add slash, here you can see your custom agent command. I'll just click on it, and I want to implement the custom agent for the settings.tsx, which is already there in the context. So I'll just enter. So you can see it has analyzed the settings.tsx file, and it has generated some reusable code. Let's scroll down to the bottom, and let's see. So it has created reusable components. First is the form input component, loading button component, profile form component, and separated out the business logic. All right, so let's see the code differences. All right, so it has generated this form input component, then this is the loading component. All right, it has changed the logic, it seems. This is the profile form component, and you can see it has replaced the normal inputs with the form inputs. Okay, and also replace the loading button. Awesome. So if I accept the changes, you can see now my entire file is having the reusable components. I can take these components and put it in some global file and then reuse them in the entire code base as well. Now if you want to generate the unit test cases for your code, it's fairly easy to do it with Zencoder. So you can select the file, you can see it is in the context. Now here just add slash and just add unit test, and right now I do not have any unit test environment set up in my code base. So let's see what it does. So it sees in the package.json that I do not have any testing libraries installed. So it is recommending me to install some testing libraries. So let me do it now. I'll just run the command. Awesome. Let me see in the changes. Okay, it has installed the React testing libraries and Zest also. That is nice. Alright, it is asking me to run one more command. Let me apply the changes, and now let me run the command. It's creating a directory under the source pages. Now it is proposing me some of the testing scenarios: render the user list correctly, show loading state, and all of these. I can add my custom scenario as well, but let me keep these only and generate the tests. So it has generated this test file for manage users, and it has analyzed some issues, and then again it is fixing it. Alright, so it has created this test file, and let me apply it. So you can see in src there is manage user test.tsx. Cool. So let's run the command. Let me do it in the terminal, or npm test, and you can see all the tests have been passed. So it has successfully created the unit test for this file. You can connect your MCP server with Zencoder to interact with external resources and external tools. So right now I have this local setup for a weather MCP server. So if you see this index.ts file, so I am importing the TypeScript SDK from the model context protocol. This is where I'm creating the server instance. So if you scroll down, so here I'm using the get alerts tool, which gets us the alert for a particular state, and then I'm using get forecast, which based on the location it gets the forecast for that location. And yeah, so I have added this MCP server to my Zencoder. So if you want to configure it, you can go to settings, and if you scroll all the way to the bottom, let me close the terminal, and yeah, edit JSON, and in this setting.json you can add your MCP server. And here you can see I have added my weather MCP server. I've added the command s node and also the path for my build. All right. So now let's test this MCP server. So I have to turn on the coding agent and let me ask how is the weather in New York. So you can see it is running the get forecast to get the data of New York, and then it summarized what is the weather for today, tomorrow, and Tuesday. All right. So this is how you can connect your MCP servers to Zencoder to build more powerful softwares. So yeah, these were my favorite features of Zencoder, and thank you so much for watching the video.